This is where the war in Afghanistan will be won or lost. The southern city of Kandahar is the heartland of the insurgency. The people here have endured more than their share of violence and uncertainty.
It's enough. Everybody's hurt enough on both sides.
US troops and Afghan police prepare to patrol the outskirts of Kandahar. They're trying to stop the insurgents smuggling weapons and fighters through this valley.
So, because they say they use a couple routes to get into Kandahar city for the Taliban, and one of them is right through where we're going to go today.
Lieutenant Danielle Johnson has only been in the Army for 2 years. She's one of the few female officers commanding US troops out on patrol in Kandahar. Even as we talk, she's scanning the streets for explosives and potential suicide bombers.
Because they know if they put anything around this area that they would call the AMP. Stop! Stop!
The Afghan and US troops don't take any chances. The biggest danger they face are suicide attackers and hidden bombs known as improvised explosive devices or IEDs. Bicycles and even donkeys have been used to carry the bombs. This man is happy to see the troops in the area, but says the Taliban still come here at night and terrorise the people. The Governor of Kandahar wants an end to the violence and intimidation. He survived an assassination attempt by insurgents in October last year. He says both sides have spilled enough blood and the time has come for negotiations.
On the government side and the insurgency side. So my message to them would be to come and join the government and accept the constitution of Afghanistan.
Assalamu alaikum.
The coalition push in Kandahar won't just mean more soldiers on the streets. It's all about reconnecting the local people with the government and shutting out the Taliban.
I mean, it's not like bombing or explosions or tanks or artilleries. It's mostly like extending the local governance from the provincial level to the district level.
Does he have any traffic coming over his radio?
But many districts are still not safe. Every night, coalition and Afghan troops hunt the Taliban.
So the patrol have just had a radio message that some of the Afghan security forces may have come under fire at their position, which is about 1 kilometre away from where the Americans and the Afghans are at the moment. So they're just trying to determine exactly what's going on.
You're at 5-3. It's showing it like not even half a click south of your location.
Do they have any AMPs out there right now?
The patrol is given the all clear and slips through the darkness back to its base. US commanders are expecting more Taliban attacks as the coalition build-up escalates.
I think there is an anticipation by the enemy that there is something that's going to go on here, and they're kind of focused on that. I think they see Kandahar as an area that they want to, exert influence over.
The long-term goal is to train up the Afghan police and army to fill the vacuum when coalition troops leave. But the locals are still inexperienced.
To say that they're ready by the end of this year to take over, I think they'll still need some coalition help by the end of 2010 to do that. But I think they'll be further along their way, obviously, than they are now.
It's a slow process. Just as US troops prepare to go on patrol, one of the Afghan police officers accidentally fires his weapon, leaving a bullet hole in the ground.
Here's your bullet hole, Sergeant Holloway.
But the biggest threat is from the Taliban.
Taliban treat us very badly. 15 days ago, I received a letter at my door telling me to stop working for the government or they will kill me. But I want to serve my country.
Lieutenant Johnson knows just how dangerous it is to take on the Taliban in Kandahar. One of her comrades, another young female lieutenant, lost her leg in February when insurgents detonated a motorbike packed with explosives as she walked past. Lieutenant Johnson and her troops rushed to the scene only minutes after the blast.
You still have to do your job. The most important thing was getting her out of there and making sure we had security so nothing else happened that night. So you can't really think about it then.
Does it hit you later on?
Yes.
Lieutenant Johnson still has 3 more months of her deployment to go. Her mother and grandmother are anxiously waiting for her return back home to Louisiana.
They tend to worry a lot, but sending them pictures and that type of stuff eases it a little bit. Doesn't make it much easier, but it eases it a little bit.
The next few months will determine whether foreign and Afghan forces can take control of the volatile home of the Taliban.